Hello everyone, today we're talking about one of the most beautiful and unique Japanese sports cars ever created. A machine that completely changed how people viewed lightweight performance cars. This is the story of the legendary Mazda RX-7 FD. Back in the 1990s, Japan was building some of the greatest performance machines in automotive history. Toyota had the Supra, Nissan had the Skyline, and Honda had the NSX dominating the market. But Mazda decided they didn't want to follow the same formula as everyone else. Instead of building a bigger engine with more cylinders, Mazda focused on balance, precision, and lightweight engineering. They wanted a car that felt connected to the driver in every possible situation. And the result of that vision became the RX-7 FD. At the center of the RX-7 sat one of the most unique engines ever placed inside a production car. A 1.3-liter twin-turbo rotary engine called the 13B REW that worked completely differently from normal engines. Small, lightweight, and incredibly smooth, it quickly became one of the most respected Japanese engines ever made. The rotary engine delivered power in a way that felt aggressive, unpredictable, and exciting at the same time. Once the turbos activated, the RX-7 transformed from calm to brutal within seconds. And the sound it produced became unforgettable for car enthusiasts around the world. But straight-line speed was never the RX-7's biggest strength, because the real magic appeared in the corners. Mazda engineered the car to feel light, responsive, and almost perfectly balanced at high speeds. Drivers often described it as a machine that communicated directly with the driver instead of fighting against them. Every movement, every shift, and every corner felt sharp, precise, and controlled behind the wheel. The RX-7 didn't rely on brute force or massive horsepower to impress people on the road. Instead, it used balance, handling, and pure driving feel to dominate its competition. Then there was the design, which many enthusiasts still consider one of the greatest Japanese car designs ever created. The low stance, smooth curves, aggressive body lines, and iconic pop-up headlights gave it a timeless appearance. Even today, decades later, the RX-7 still looks futuristic and dangerously beautiful on the road. Outside the racetrack, the RX-7 quickly became a massive part of underground street racing culture. Tuners loved the rotary engine because of how much power it could produce with heavy modifications. Bigger turbos, louder exhaust systems, and insane horsepower builds turned the RX-7 into a true street legend. But owning an RX-7 was never easy, because rotary engines demanded proper maintenance and careful tuning. Unlike traditional engines, the RX-7 required owners who truly understood how the machine worked. And maybe that challenge became one of the biggest reasons enthusiasts respected it so much. Over time, movies, racing games, automotive magazines, and internet culture pushed the RX-7 into legendary status worldwide. For many enthusiasts, it became much more than just another Japanese sports car from the 1990s. It became a symbol of creativity, passion, and fearless engineering that refused to follow normal rules. The RX-7 started appearing everywhere, from underground street racing scenes to posters, magazines, and legendary racing games. Its smooth body lines, iconic pop-up headlights, and unique rotary sound made it instantly recognizable to car enthusiasts. Even people who knew nothing about cars could immediately tell the RX-7 was something special and completely different. As tuning culture exploded around the world, the RX-7 became one of the biggest icons of the entire JDM movement. Tuners pushed the rotary engine far beyond factory limits, creating insane builds with massive turbochargers and unbelievable horsepower. Some heavily modified RX-7s eventually produced power levels that rivaled exotic supercars, costing several times more money. The car also gained massive popularity through movies and internet culture, where its aggressive styling perfectly matched street racing scenes. For an entire generation of enthusiasts, the RX-7 became a dream car they grew up admiring through screens, posters, and videos. And unlike many cars that lose popularity over time, the RX-7 only became more respected as the years passed. But what truly separated the RX-7 from other performance cars was the feeling it delivered behind the wheel. The lightweight chassis, near-perfect balance, and responsive steering created an experience that felt raw, emotional, and deeply connected. Drivers often described it as one of the purest sports cars ever built because it made every drive feel exciting. Of course, owning an RX-7 was never easy, because rotary engines demanded proper maintenance, patience, and real understanding. It wasn't the kind of car you could ignore or treat carelessly like an ordinary daily driver. And maybe that challenge became one of the biggest reasons enthusiasts respected and loved the RX-7 so much. Today, decades later, the Mazda RX-7 FD remains one of the most respected and unforgettable Japanese sports cars ever created. Not because it was the loudest or most powerful machine of its era, but because Mazda had the courage to build something unique, emotional, and completely different from everything else on the road. A design and driving experience that didn't match any ordinary sports car of its time. It didn't try to copy trends or follow what other manufacturers were doing in that era. Instead, it carried its own identity with a unique character that instantly stood out wherever it appeared. Every detail, from its exterior styling to its performance philosophy, felt purpose-built and carefully engineered. While other cars focused on either comfort, luxury, or straight-line speed, this machine balanced everything in its own way. It delivered a driving feel that was raw, engaging, and completely different from what most drivers were used to experiencing. And that uniqueness made it feel special even among much more expensive and powerful machines. Even when parked among modern sports cars or exotic supercars, it still managed to pull attention effortlessly. Not because it relied on flashy design or extreme aggression, but because it had a calm, confident, and timeless personality. It felt like a machine that didn't need validation from anyone around it. A car that proved being different is sometimes more powerful than being the fastest or the most expensive. Over time, that uniqueness is what transformed it from just another sports car into a true automotive legend. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell icon for more legendary stories. See you later.